that doesn't happen.
Welcome, everybody, to a brand new podcast. This is called Air Control, a New York Jets fan podcast. I'm JC3. This is Big Joe. And you might have watched our other podcast from the middle. That's dead, defunct. This is a new Air Control podcast.
It's dead.
Here's what we have on tap for today.
CJ Stroud, I'm going to respectfully say shut the fuck up.
And to Aaron Rodgers standards, you know, back-to-back MVPs, four-time MVP Aaron Rodgers, that's not a good season for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, but for a Jets, that's a Super Bowl season.
All right, so on today's episode, as you can see, maybe you read it, we're talking about the Aaron Rodgers effect. But just to start off, let's talk about our fandom. Dad, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. This is going to be posted on, I believe, June 10th. So it's a couple days away. It's a week away. So what got you into being a New York Jets fan? Let's talk about a little bit about that, and then we'll get into our main topic.
Well, to be honest with you, in my house at the time, they were all Giant fans, and I always wanted to go against the board. So that's how I became a Jet fan. And at the time, they had Joe Namath, so I figured, you know what? They got Joe Namath, best quarterback in the league at that point or whatever. That's how it was. It wasn't like, I mean, they could have all been Jet fans. I've been doing a Giant podcast now. But that's how it became. And I'm not going to say I regretted it ever since, but it hasn't been an easy ride. You know, it just hasn't.
For me, been the Jet fan my entire life because of him right there. You know, he's also wearing a Met jersey, so
don't blame me for your bullshit.
He gave me Mets, Jets, and Canadians, so that's what he gave me. Okay, so that's where my fandom would come in. Now, granted, I'm about to be 29 years old in 2 weeks. Well, when this drops, it'll be a week.
And I'm only 40. How's that happen?
You're more than 40, my friend. Yeah. So I'm about to be 29 years old, and I've seen the Jets knowingly make it to 2 AFC Championship games. I've been alive for 3 AFC Championship games, but 98, I didn't know. So I was only 3 years old. How the fuck would I know? So that's my fandom. You know, I've been through a lot of the downs of the last time the Jets made it to the AFC Championship game, and the last time the Jets made it to the playoffs. But we are up on a new horizon, a new outlook on the way the Jets are, at least more optimistic outlook than what the Jets have been over the last 13 years.
Well, that's great because, you know what, to be honest with you, every offseason, the Jet fan goes to a new height of optimism. And every first month of the season starts out 2-2, 1-3, 0-4. You know, it never pans out, ever. And last year, it was a great off season. You know, we waited till he came out of the darkness, and we waited for this, and we waited for that. Watched every podcast available, and that week leading up to the season, you know, like, all right, well, you know what, we have a little optimism here. We're going to win. We're going to win. This is going to be the year the optimism is actually going to carry itself through. 4 plays into the season, we're back to Zach Wilson.
I don't want to hear that name anymore. He's
another
gone.
Long, disgraceful fucking season. Although, I got to be honest, for as bad as they were, they still wound up with 7 wins.
Oh, thanks to that defense.
You know,
but look,
right.
I'm not sitting here. I was a very optimistic Jet fan. I tried to be positive.
You're pathetic.
I looked at maybe, you know, good games that Zach Wilson had last year. Good games could get us through this. Good games could get us through that. Zach Wilson's out of the building now. He's no longer a Jet. I don't have to be optimistic about him. He's gone. He's out of the locker room.
Right. That would solve a lot of our arguments because you always defended this guy. And to me, and it's not that he's a bad guy or a bad person. He just never, you know, he didn't have the chops coming out of college. Has a great arm. I'm not going to say that, you know, and maybe with the right tutelage, maybe he might turn into something.
He's gone to Sean Payton.
Sean Payton, I'm sorry. He's always been surrounded with great quarterbacks. I don't know if he can develop a quarterback. I don't know.
We'll see.
We will see. I
but-
wish Zach Wilson a lot of luck.
In this episode, we are talking about Aaron Rodgers, and we're going to talk about the Aaron Rodgers effect on the New York Jets. But first off, here's a segment we call Current Player Profiles. Check it out.
In a world where football legends are born, one name stands above the rest: Aaron Rodgers.
A-gap pressure, and they come with it. Here come the Niners, and there goes Rodgers to the end zone. Gets it for the touchdown.
Meet Aaron Rodgers, the quarterback extraordinaire. Born on December 2nd, 1983, in Chico, California, Rodgers' journey to greatness began at an early age. With a passion for the game and a determination to succeed, Rodgers honed his skills and set his sights on the NFL.
And a new quarterback coming into the lineup. Aaron will see him creeping up on the blitz. Steps up, drills the ball. Rodgers steps up this time, down the sideline.
After a standout college career at the University of California, Berkeley, Rodgers was selected in the first round of the 2005 NFL Draft by the Green Bay Packers. From his very first snap, it was clear that Rodgers was destined for greatness. With his pinpoint accuracy, unmatched arm strength, and unparalleled football IQ, he quickly became a force to be reckoned with on the field.
Got him off sides. Down the field. He's open, wide open. Allison cuts back. Rodgers will go conventional. Do it himself. Touchdown, Packers. Rodgers is gonna get away. Whoa, and he's got Cobb.
But it wasn't just his physical abilities that set Rodgers apart. Known for his cool and composed demeanor, he became the epitome of a leader, inspiring his teammates to reach new heights. Throughout his career, Rodgers has shattered records, won prestigious awards, and earned the respect of his peers. He is a four-time NFL MVP, a Super Bowl champion, and has been selected to numerous Pro Bowls. Off the field, Rodgers is just as impressive. His charitable endeavors and commitment to making a difference in the community have made him a role model for aspiring athletes worldwide. With every snap, every throw, and every victory, Aaron Rodgers continues to solidify his place among the all-time greats of the game. His legacy is one of excellence, dedication, and unwavering determination. Aaron Rodgers, a name that will forever be etched in football history, a legend in his own right.
So as you can see from our current player profile, this episode is all about Aaron Rodgers. And what I have, Dad, let's talk about Aaron Rodgers and the Aaron Rodgers effect. First off, what do you think the Aaron Rodgers effect is?
Two things: respect and lack of respect.
Oh, lack of respect. That's
Absolutely.
a good one.
You have the Jet fans that are ultimate. They're going to give him the ultimate respect. You're going to have some of Aaron Rodgers' former players that are now in the media that are going to give him all the respect in the world. Give the Jets the props. Give the Jets the okay, you're going in the right direction. You're going to, and just as opposite of that, you're going to have the people who don't like the Jets, don't like Aaron Rodgers, or think the Jets are grabbing onto an old man just to build up their credibility, and they're grasping at straws. And I'm going to be honest with you, to me, it falls somewhere in the middle of that. It falls, was this a desperation move on the Jets' part? I'm going to say yes, because you got a chance to get a first ballot Hall of Famer, you go ahead and you do it. Having said that, if your team wasn't as bad as it was, you don't look like you're grasping at straws. To me, this was desperation. However, the moves that Joe Douglas has made around it doesn't scream so much of desperation. It just screams of, now there's a couple moves that they made, bringing in Jordan Davis. I love that move. He's going to sit behind Rodgers hopefully for 2 years, and it'll be the first time in my lifetime a quarterback is actually going to sit before he comes in to play with the New York Jets, because we all know the New York Jets have never honestly developed a quarterback.
Oh, yeah. If you're a Jet fan, you know the Jets haven't developed a quarterback at all.
The Chad Penningtons of the world, he came in with more natural talent. Brain on him was amazing. So, I think he sat behind Vinny for a year, whatever. But that was one of the only real ones. But you can't credit them for developing him. He was just good going in. As far as the last couple of years, there was nobody there to help Zach Wilson at all.
This is an article on JetsNation.com.
Mm-hmm.
This was going into last season. This is what the Aaron Rodgers effect is, according to them. Rodgers enters the season. Remember, this is before he went down with his 4 plays in, tearing his Achilles. So basically, you can apply this even to this season, more so because he didn't play it down last season.
Right.
So Rodgers enters the season with something to prove, which works out quite well for the Jets. Green Bay decided the face of their franchise since 2008 wasn't needed anymore. That should mean that Rodgers plays with an edge he might have lacked in recent years in Green Bay. That's an edge on which this team will ride into the postseason for the first time since 2010. The Jets don't need vintage Rodgers. They will be fine on Rodgers from last season. Well, they're talking about last
season in Green Bay
play, so that would be 2023. No, 2022. People say that they feel that he's regressed. If he regresses here in a Jets uniform in the tune of 26 touchdowns and 12 interceptions, the numbers he posted his last year in Green Bay, the Jets will win 12 games.
Easily. With our defense? Come on.
And that's with last year, with the offense last year.
Right.
You've added more pieces to the offense this year, or a better offensive line to the offense this year.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just one. So the Jets starter of last season, which was Zach Wilson of 2022, had 6 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. The Jets still won 7 games that year. So the Jets went back-to-back 22 and 23, went 7 and 10.
Right.
So they didn't gain any ground or lose any ground over the last 2 years.
No, they didn't.
I think Rodgers will consider to be better than last season because of the edge he has from his departure from the Packers, and because he has a much better set of receivers around him. And again, he has a better receiving core this year than he did last year. And now he's coming off of an injury in which everybody's saying it's 40 years old, he's dead in the water, Aaron Rodgers is going to fade out. That's what everybody's saying.
Well, see, that's the good part of it, because they're going to just make him prove to everybody that, you know what? I'm not dead in the water. He's already past the Achilles. I mean, he could, in an emergency, it looked to me like he could have came in last year. I'm glad he didn't. I was never for that. I wanted to make sure that he stayed out the whole year, let it heal correctly, give it as much time as possible. I'm glad they did what they did, and cooler heads prevailed. But I really have a fear that if the Jets needed him last year, they were going to throw him in there, and that would have been a giant mistake in my part, my opinion. But that's just, the way it is. And, having said all that, if you think about it, all Aaron Rodgers has got to be is he's got to show up. He shows up, the Jets are in the playoffs. This defense is not going to let down. They're better than they were last year.
Well, that's the funny thing.
And they were great.
You see a lot of these sports analysts who are always going to be down in the dumps, especially in the New York media. Mm-hmm. We all know how the New York media plays.
Right, build you up to knock you down.
All right, so if you listen to all these sports personalities,
mm-hmm.
even if Aaron Rodgers plays how he did his last year in Green Bay, which, he had 26 touchdowns and 12 interceptions.
Right.
And to Aaron Rodgers' standards, back-to-back MVPs, four-time MVP Aaron Rodgers. That's not a good season for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, but for a Jets, that's a Super Bowl season. See, that's what really just
that's what the Aaron
makes
Rodgers
people
effect
crazy.
is for the Jets is. If he plays, even if he plays like it, and everybody forgets that the last year in the Green Bay, he broke his left thumb. He had injuries, and he still played through all that shit, and he still went 26-12. Now they had a group of rookie wide receivers he's never played with. He wasn't a fan of the not the ownership, because the Green Bay owns is the ownership there. Like the Green Bay fans are ownership. He wasn't a fan of the management or the coach or the coaches.
Right.
And he didn't feel like he needed to show up to off-season stuff. So right there, like granted, you could sit there and say, well, that's the thing on him. Like you put the team above yourself. But if you're not feeling loved, you're not feeling wanted or anything like that, then boom, that's what you get. Now, over the last 2 seasons he's been a Jet, he's showed up to both off-season workout and training camp opportunities.
And that was against everybody else saying. I mean, I remember, you know what, he's going to sign with the Jets, but he's never going to show up for OTAs. He's just going to be, he's going to come out there and he'll show up in August and do his Aaron Rodgers thing, and that'll be it. He did. He showed up from day one. He's been a New York Jet from day one. And that, to me, that makes me as a Jet fan that much more excited that he's vested himself in this team. The only issue I have, and it's not with Aaron Rodgers, I have an issue. How good is the coaching staff going to be? Now we all know that Bob Robertsala is he's a great man. He loves his football. He's a great
defensive coach.
Great defensive coordinator. I got my issues with him. I definitely have my issues with Hackett. Maybe Hackett coming back down working with Rodgers full time. Maybe they'll click. That's going to be that's going to be an issue.
Again, the thing with the team is they have to stay healthy. That's the major issue for, well, obviously any team to do anything. All their players have to be healthy. Sure. But you're talking about Tyron Smith, who's only played 33 games over the last 3 seasons, or 4 seasons.
That's a guy that got from Dallas, right?
Yeah.
That's a big boy, man. I saw him. He's a big man.
Yeah,
Holy
Aaron
shit.
Rodgers gets hurt. One of the freakiest injuries I've ever seen for Aaron Rodgers in his career, and was the first time with the Jets. Of course that happens. But, these injury-prone players that the Jets have and have signed. Mike Williams, he's still rehabbing, the new wide receiver. He's still rehabbing his ACL.
Right.
So it all is an asterisk next to the season if the Jets stay healthy. If the Jets stay healthy, they're making the playoffs. I don't see any which way this team collapses if they're all healthy. I really don't.
I look at it this way too, and this is what gives me hope. Last year, going into the season, the Jets did not address their backup quarterback situation at all. Big mistake. Why they didn't, I have no clue. Okay, this time around, Tyrod Taylor, you know what? If Tyrod Taylor's on that team last year, they're in the playoffs. Okay, he would have won you at least 3 more games. All right, they would have been borderline making the playoffs. He can scramble a little better on that shitty ass offensive line that they had. So
they have a much better offensive. They've retooled the entire offensive line.
Right, which I said to you going into the offseason. To me, that was the easiest part of the entire.
Yeah, the only one they didn't retool, or the only 2 they didn't retool, was Elijah Vera Tucker, who again is injury prone.
Right.
We all know over the last 3 seasons or 2 seasons, 3 seasons, he's been injured and out. But they did the center, Joe Tittman, who was a rookie last year. He's the number 1 center now. And
I'm hearing they're having issues with him in camp. Whether they are or not, I don't know. There's a couple of people online who are giving him a little bit of shit, but I haven't seen camp. We're going to be out there next week, so maybe we can see with our own eyes.
We're going to take a short break so you can hear some of our sponsors, but when we get back, I have a little treat for Big Joe, Dad, of a quarterback going off on Aaron Rodgers in a recent podcast, and we'll see what his take is on this.
All right.
We'll be right back. Hey there, fellow truth seekers. Are you ready to dive deep into the mysteries of the universe? Look no further than isisraelpc.com, your one-stop destination for all things mysterious and unexplained. From captivating podcast episodes to thought-provoking articles, our website is packed with fascinating content that will leave you questioning reality. Visit isthisrealpc.com today and join our community of curious minds as we explore the unknown together. Don't just wonder, discover the truth today at isthisrealpc.com.
Are you a filmmaker, cosplayer, or special effects enthusiast looking to take your creations to the next level? Then look no further than New Rule FX. From realistic props to professional grade special effects equipment, New Rule FX has everything you need to bring your vision to life. Explore their extensive catalog of high quality products and unleash your creativity like never before. Visit our link in the description to shop now below.
Hey everybody, I'm JC3.
And I'm Mr. West.
And this episode is brought to you by Dubby. Made by professionals in the USA, Dubby was formulated to give you focus and energy with no jitters or crash. Their formula contains vitamins, amino acids, including the patented Neurofactor. You know what Dubby doesn't give you?
What is that?
No calories, no sugars, no fillers, and no artificial flavors. When the raw ingredients arrive to their FDA-registered and inspected facility that strictly adheres to GMP guidelines, they undergo a quarantine while a small sample of each ingredient is taken to test for any impurities, while also being tested to ensure that the ingredients are actually what they are supposed to be and have the proper dosage.
And once the ingredients pass all the tests, then they're cleared to get mixed into the formula. So head on over to dubby.gg and use our offer code IsThisRealPC for 10% off your first order. That's dubby.gg and use the code IsThisRealPC for 10% off. They have great flavors such as Galaxy Grenade, Dub Sludge, Passion Joy Tea, Monkey Madness, and Dragonade. My personal favorites.
Dragonade right here. I got Dragonade right here. Delicious.
Drink Dubby
And be better.
These products are not intended to diagnose, cure, or prevent any disease.
Who wants better sex? And who wants better sex starting now? The best way to get started is go to adamandeve.com.
Adam and Eve is offering 50% off just any item.
But that's not all. When you select your one item, you will also get 3 bonus items. That includes a gift for him, a special gift for her, and a gift you'll both like.
Plus 6 free movies for your viewing pleasure and free shipping.
There is discreet shipping as your privacy is priority. Plus 100% free shipping on your entire order.
Doesn't matter how much you spend or what you buy, it will all be packaged and sent discreetly for free.
Don't wait. Better sex is just one click away.
That's 50% off one item, 3 free gifts, 6 free movies, and free shipping.
Bring more pleasure and satisfaction to your bedroom.
Just go to adamandeve.com and select any one item. It could be an adventurous new toy or anything you desire.
Just enter code QUESTION at checkout.
That's question, QUESTION at adamandeve.com.
This exclusive offer is specific to this podcast only. So be sure at checkout you punch in the code QUESTION. That is QUESTION at checkout. And get your 50% off one item, 10 free gifts, and free shipping. Remember, use code QUESTION. Also remember to listen to Is This Real every Sunday at 8 o'clock with new episodes starting July 16th. Remember everybody, question everything and put that question at the end of your checkout at adamandeve.com. Calling all cat lovers. Are you tired of your furry friend taking over your living space? Say hello to Cat Cave Co., your one-stop shop for all things stylish cat furniture. Their modern design seamlessly blend into your home decor while providing your cat with a cozy sanctuary of their own. Discover the perfect piece for your feline friend today using the link in the description and reclaim your space without compromising your style. Your cat will thank you.
Hey, fellow truth seekers. Want to take your love for the Is This Real podcast to the next level? Check out our exclusive merchandise line designed for curious minds like yours in mind. From comfy tees and hoodies to stylish mugs and accessories, our merchandise is the best way for you to show your passion for unraveling the mysteries of the fucking universe. Visit our online store at isthisrealpc.com and gear up to explore the universe in style. Don't just listen, wear your curiosity with pride with Is This Real Podcast merchandise.
Welcome back, everybody, to our first episode of Air Control, a New York Jets fan podcast. As we are back, I'm JC3, that's Big Joe. And before we went to break, we were talking about Aaron Rodgers and the Aaron Rodgers effect on the New York Jets. What we're going to be talking about now is I'm going to get his Big Joe's take on this recent podcast episode that came out. And I'm not going to name the podcast, but I am going to name the person who, was basically talking shit about Aaron Rodgers. And in a recent podcast, Houston Texans quarterback C.J. Stroud said this. The question that was asked was, would you rather have a career like the New York Giants' Eli Manning or Aaron Rodgers? And this is what he had to say. First, right off the bat, he said, you want the rings. You know Manning got two. And then he turns around and says, hold on, let me get it. You know what I think it is? I've talked to Tom Brady, and this is because he's a good mentor to me. What he told me is his teammates and how he treats his teammates. And what he told me is his teammates and how he treats his teammates. And what he thinks is the fall off for Rodgers is that we don't know how Aaron Rodgers treats his teammates, but you can guarantee that Tom Brady treats his teammates right because he got those rings. That's exactly what C.J. Stroud said.
So what do you want from me? What do you want me to say?
So what is your take on that first? Because
first of all, C.J. Stroud,
I do have a comeback for that. Okay. A
couple of things I take from that. C.J. Stroud, I'm going to respectfully say, shut the fuck up. Okay, and I'm going to say that because how long has he been in the league?
He was a rookie last season.
Okay, you lost to Zach Wilson. Shut the fuck up. Okay, that's number 2. Number 3, you want to go talk to Tom Brady? Well, I can, everybody can say, oh, I talked to Tom Brady, and Tom Brady gave me this, and Tom Brady gave me that. Tom Brady admitted on his roast the other day that he did cheat. Okay? When he told everybody that he did deflate the football. Now, you may not think that's cheating, but according to the rules, it is. So if he did that, who else knows what he did? Now, I'm not going to take anything away from Tom Brady as far as being the greatest of all time. To me, that's always going to be Joe Montana. I don't. I'm
going to take that away, and I'll say this right now for people who don't want to hear me. When you have asterisks next to your Super Bowl rings, no matter what the cause is,
exactly.
I don't that when you're even considered of he might have cheated that season. I don't want to hear how great you are because you're cheating.
You got to prove it. You can't. Put
it was proven. Why? Then
right.
Why? Okay. If it wasn't proven, then why did the NFL? Granted, we could sit here and say it wasn't a big punishment, but why did the NFL punish the New England Patriots twice?
There's a lot of problems when you bring in the name of Belichick and Brady, Kraft. There's always going to be something in there that's going to be shady, in my opinion. Not accusing them because I don't have the proof of my own, but if the NFL does and they did what they did, that's fine. But I'm gonna say to C.J. Stroud, I really go out there, play 2 seasons before you want to criticize or you want to go off on somebody else, okay? Because you know what, in a heartbeat, your career could end. All right, these guys have done it. I mean, look, Brady, 21 years, whatever, he did it on a high level, but there's also a lot of shit that he brought to the league.
Well, that's why
a lot of rule changes that hurt people.
That's why they called him Shady Brady.
Okay, a lot of stuff like that. Aaron Rodgers, I'm not going to sit here and defend Aaron Rodgers as far as what. All I can tell you is the people that Aaron Rodgers has played for still want to play with him. I've yet to see one person talk out that Aaron Rodgers was not a good teammate.
There's a couple.
Yeah, I haven't heard them, so maybe you did.
Let's just put it like this. Number one, there's a reason why the headline came up of Shady Brady and Bill Belichick. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember the song
Yeah.
vividly, yeah.
And number two, for C.J. Stroud. Again, he's saying, well, I haven't heard, we don't know how Aaron Rodgers treats his teammates. Aaron Rodgers was voted by his teammates last season, even without playing, to get the most inspirational award for the Jets.
Yeah. And for C.J. Stroud to open his mouth, just remember this. There's a little statistic that you need to know before, when you put your helmet on this year and you go out and play. Zach Wilson won, C.J. Stroud none. Okay. And he did that with a shitty offensive line. So, until you can play up to the level of Zach Wilson, I don't want to hear from you.
That's a little much. I mean,
a little much,
yeah,
maybe.
He beat Zach Wilson and the Jets beat him, but he didn't have his top 2 wide receivers. He didn't have his.
We all go through injuries. Everybody goes through injuries.
I understand that.
There's no excuses with injuries.
That.
There's no excuses. I just don't like when players got to talk bad about other players, especially rookies. Shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear you. Okay, you do yourself a favor. Get out of the playpen, play a couple of years, and then you know what? If you got an opinion, we'll all sit around and listen to you. Maybe.
Well, so I think that covers it for this week's episode. Do you want to know what next week's episode's about?
Yes, I do.
All right, next week's episode.
Could it be the Jets? I'm just throwing it out there.
We're talking about the 1986 playoff run.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
Yes. And next week's Spotlight.
Hey, 10-1, down to 10-6. Lovely.
Shut up.
I'm sorry.
Next week's Player Spotlight, we're going to be talking about Garrett Wilson.
All right.
So thank you guys for joining us on our first episode of Air Control, a New York Jets fan podcast. I'm JC3. That's Big Joe. We'll catch you guys next week. And remember, everybody. Wow, I was going to say another podcast.
This isn't Is This Real?
No, it's not Is This Real. Go follow all of our social medias, by the way. We are going to have a TikTok. It's going to be Air Control something. I have to make it yet. I haven't made it yet, I'll be honest.
We're so well advanced.
But go to isthisrealpc.com. That is our website to get the link tree for everything Green Hour Media. And then go buy some of the stuff that sponsors us. I'm not gonna lie, pretty cool products. The Cat Cave Co. I don't have a cat, but it's a cool. It's
other
a cool
people in the
thing.
company do, and they've been using it for a while now. So, yeah, I mean, hey, whatever. This is, they keep us floating on all our podcasts. So it's fun.
All right, thank you guys. Join us next week for the 1986 playoff run. We'll be back next week.
That doesn't